guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, Glam By Sam. If you're new here, don't forget to click subscribe if you want new beauty videos 3 to 5 times a week. And if you are already a subscriber, then of course, hi, welcome back. So glad you're watching again. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing my 10 eyeshadow palettes that I would keep if I could only keep 10 eyeshadow palettes. So today's video is in collaboration with Kelly from K Bella Beauty. You guys might know her channel because she actually has a pretty similar channel to mine, and I really wanted to collab with her for this video because I think you guys will really enjoy her channel. She does videos about luxury makeup, high-end makeup, but also like affordable makeup. She does like 3 look 1 palettes videos. She also does like reviews, hauls, just really nice, and I think you guys will love her videos as well. So I will link Kelly's channel and her video in the description box, and I really recommend checking out her channel as well as her video because she is doing the exact same video as me today. So I think without further ado, if you want to see which palettes I would keep, then please keep watching. Now this video was actually pretty hard to do because I have quite a big eyeshadow palette collection and it was really hard to only choose 10 palettes, but I was just like imagining if something happens and I could really only keep 10 palettes, like which ones would I choose to make like a nice collection? Because there's definitely some palettes I like but I can like live without, and then there's like palettes I really can't live without. They're like my absolute favorite palettes that I just needed to have in my collection. So these 10 palettes are maybe not necessarily all my favorite palettes, but there are ones that I think would make a really nice collection if I could only keep 10. So that's why I chose these palettes. So let's get started with the first one. So the first one I want to show you is my Natasha Denona bronze palette. And the reason why I chose this palette is because I definitely need like a warm toned palette in my collection. So really warm toned palettes have never really been my favorites, but I'm starting to like them a bit more. And I recently added this one from Natasha Denona to my collection, and this palette is really making me love warm tones again. It's super beautiful and I just really need to have this in my collection because this is the perfect palette for like warm toned bronzy eye looks. And I feel like for summer those looks are just so nice to wear, so I just needed to have a warm tone palette in my collection, and I just love the Natasha Denona eyeshadow formula. I did an entire review on this palette, so if you want to see the look that I created and my thoughts, then I will have that linked in the info cards right now, and I definitely recommend checking that video out if you're interested in maybe picking up this palette because I really think it is a beautiful palette. And even though some shades are pretty similar, I still wanted to have this in my collection because like I said, it's just perfect for like your everyday warm toned bronzy eye look. So that is the Natasha Denona bronze palette, and that is palette number 1. Then the second palette, this probably won't be a surprise, but this is my other Natasha Denona palette, and this is the Natasha Denona Love palette. Now if you know me, you know I absolutely love pink toned eyeshadow palettes. They're like my favorite palettes to wear. I'm wearing like a pink eye look today. I just love wearing them. So I had to pick this palette as well because as you can see, this is a gorgeous palette, and not only does this palette have really pretty pinks, it also has 2 like gorgeous red shade. It has this like gorgeous shimmer here. It has a nice matte purple. It has sort of like a more black shade. So I think this palette is pretty versatile and I really love the quality of these. These shadows are just so easy to blend. They look really pretty on the eye and I just love wearing this palette. So I only added this to my collection back around like Valentine's Day this year, so I haven't owned this for like so long. And the bronze palette I actually only got like 2 months ago, but I have just loved both of these palettes so much, so these definitely have to be in my collection of 10 eyeshadow palettes. So again, that is the Natasha Denona Love palette. Then palette number 3 might be a bit of a surprise to some of you guys, but this is actually my Kylie Cosmetics and the Grinch eyeshadow palette. Now this was actually limited edition around the holidays of 2020. It also has this like Grinch at the mirror, so that's like a fun addition to the palette. But these shades are just so beautiful, and the reason why I want to keep this palette in my collection is because I've actually been getting into like green eyeshadow a bit more. I used to hate green eyeshadow. I really don't like the color green in general, so I never really was drawn to like green eyeshadow and I would never like buy them, but I think this was like the first green palette that I decided to pick up because I just loved the like theme around this collection and everything. And this palette has surprised me quite a bit. I really enjoy it. I have to say it's not like the best quality in my collection. Some shimmers also have a bit of fallouts, but I really like the shades of the mattes in here, and I also love that you can create really like wearable green eyeshadow looks with this. Now I actually recently got the BH Cosmetics Avocado Toast palette. As you can see behind me, there it is, but I haven't tried that one yet, so I couldn't of course add it in this video. So now I'm adding the Kylie and the Grinch eyeshadow palette because I really do enjoy this palette and I love the color story, and I have to say I think green greens look quite nice on me, so I really have to start wearing them a bit more. So that is the little Grinch palette. Palette number 4 also probably won't be a surprise to some of you guys because I've talked about this palette on my channel quite a bit as well. And this is actually the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette. This was also a limited edition around the holidays of 2020, so I'm sorry you cannot get some of these palettes anymore. So this is the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette, and as you can see, this palette just has a gorgeous color story. It just has your like warm tones in there, some like darker shades, some purples, and then you also have like green shades here and like some like lighter pastel shades, and it just looks so pretty. I love using this palette so much. The only thing I'm not a big fan of from this palette are these shimmers because they're really pretty, but they have quite a bit of fallout. So when you want to do like a shimmery look with this palette, you kind of really have to make sure that you do your eye makeup before your base makeup, because otherwise your face is actually going to have quite a lot of glitter on there because these have quite a bit of fallout. But these shimmers are really pretty. I like the shades, and these mattes are super pretty. They blend really well, and I just always enjoy the look I create with this palette. You can really do like simple looks, but you can also do like more intense look with the darker shades. So this is definitely a palette I've been getting a lot of use out of this year, and I just need to have this palette in my collection. So that is the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice eyeshadow palette. Palette number 5 is a palette I've only had in my collection for like a week, so I know it's like super early to include it in this video, but this palette is really different than anything else I have in my collection, and I really enjoyed both looks that I created with this, so I need to have it in my collection. And that is the BH Cosmetics Passion in Paris palette. I did a 2 looks 1 palette with this video, and I will have it in the info cards right now if you guys are interested in seeing which looks I created. Look at these shades, they're so different and unique, and I just think they're so beautiful, especially like the shimmery shades are so pretty. I just think this palette is so beautiful, and now that I have it, I just need to have it in my collection because it's absolutely beautiful. These reds are gorgeous, these like blues are gorgeous, and I just love this color story. And I have a lot of like neutral eyeshadow palettes in my collection and like pink eyeshadow palettes, but I don't have a lot of palettes with a color story like this, so that is why I had to choose this one, even though I've only owned it for a week. But I just think it's too gorgeous not to have in my collection. So that is the BH Cosmetics Passion in Paris palette, and also this is pretty affordable, so that is always nice as well. Palette number 6 is of course an eyeshadow quad by Charlotte Tilbury. I need to have these in my collection as well, and this is the Fire Rose quad. So I always need to take this out of the packaging when I'm filming because I just keep this in the packaging because I think it's cute. But this is what it looks like. It has a gorgeous like holiday themed packaging. Now I'm so sorry, but this palette also isn't available anymore. I hope she re-releases it because it's just absolutely beautiful, and really I'm not going to talk about this for too long because I feel like I've talked about this palette in like so many of my recent videos. I just love this one so much. It's beautiful and I need to have it in my collection. I think I'm going to get so much use out of this, especially during the fall and winter time. I think this is just such a pretty color story. So the Fire Rose quad needs to be in my collection. So that is palette number 6. Palette number 7 is another quad by Charlotte Tilbury, and this is one I've been getting so much use out of as well. And this is the Charlotte Tilbury Exaggerates palette. So this is a permanent palette in her collection. It's not limited edition, so I will link all the palettes that are still available, of course, in the description box in case you're interested in buying any of these. But this is the Exaggerates quad, and this is so beautiful, and this is just such an easy palette to create looks with. Like when you don't know which eye look you want to do, you just take this palette and basically the look is here for you. So that is why I love this. Like sometimes I can feel a bit overwhelmed with my eyeshadow palette collection and I just don't know what type of look I want to do that day. So that is when I love reaching for these little quads because they're really convenient and you basically have the look created for you. So that's why I need to have 2 of these in my collection. They're just so pretty and I just get so much use out of these. Palette number 8, I want to keep my Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. This is such a beautiful palette. I love the packaging as well. Like look how beautiful this is. And this is like a palette based around like the honey color story. Like look at this palette. I just think this color story, it's so beautiful. I just love the like yellow tones, and this is so different to anything I have in my collection. That Natasha Denona palette is much more like bronzy and like red toned, whereas this is like really like yellow and golden toned, and I just think that is so beautiful. I've just had so much fun playing with these eyeshadows. I think the colors are really pretty, and I just love to experiment with like different types of colors. So I really enjoy this palette, and that is why I of course need to have it in my collection. And I know it doesn't look too used because I've only had this for like a little while, but it is just so pretty that I need to have it in my collection. So that is the Urban Decay Naked Honey. Palettes number 9 and 10 probably won't be a surprise to you either. But palette number 9 is my Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Instant Eye palette. I've already talked about this palette so much, just like the Fire Rose. I feel like I have been talking about this palette so much on my channel recently, but this is just like my type of color story. Look how beautiful these colors are. This is just my type of color story. I just love these colors and I love the quality. These work so nice. They blend amazing. These shimmers are beautiful. This rose gold shimmer here, so pretty. I just can't stop using this palette. It's too beautiful and I wear it so much, but I just love it so much. So I of course had to include it in this video as well. It is absolutely beautiful, and if you love that Pillow Talk like color story, I think you will definitely enjoy this one. So again, that is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Instant Eye palette. So now we're already at eyeshadow palette number 10, which is the last palette I would keep in my collection. And can you guys guess which palette is missing from my collection right now? That is the Colourpop Blush Crush palette. This is one of my all-time favorite palettes. It's probably my favorite Colourpop palette. I just love this color story. Just like with the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk one, this is my type of color story. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous, and I'm just still so sad that this shade fell out of the pan. Like, I was filming, this shade just fell out of the pan, so that is so sad, but I still really enjoy this palette. I didn't use that shade too much anyways, but these like shades, so beautiful. They're so perfect for like creating like romantic, everyday pink eye looks. They're absolutely beautiful. I think the quality is really nice, and I just love to have some more affordable palettes in my collection as well. So that is the Colourpop Blush Crush palette. So beautiful, and this needs to be in my collection. Okay guys, and these were the eyeshadow palettes I would keep if I could only keep 10 eyeshadow palettes. This was so hard for me to do, but I think I did a pretty good job creating a collection with like a variety of different eyeshadow palettes, like a variety of different tones, and I think I could create a lot of looks with these 10 palettes. Like, if you would ask me this question like in a month from now, I would probably pick different palettes as well, because my eyeshadow preferences change quite a bit. And I declutter palettes sometimes, I add new palettes sometimes, so really like my favorite palettes also kind of change. But I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I would love to hear in the comment section which 10 palettes you would keep in your collection if you could only keep 10 palettes. Also, once again, thank you Kylie for collabing with me on this video, and I will have Kylie's channel and her video linked in the description box, so when you're done watching with my video right now, you can go ahead and watch hers. So also, if you did enjoy this video, then I would absolutely love it if you gave it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you don't want to miss any of my videos. All of these things would help me so much with my channel, and I'd really appreciate it. But with that said, I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. I really hope you have an amazing day, and I really hope to see you in my next video. Bye!